As the popular saying goes, crime doesn't pay. Or does it? While it may be true that more often than not criminals get caught and eventually live the rest of their lives regretting their actions, one cannot deny that many people have amassed significant wealth from their criminal ways. Today we are going to look at 10 individuals who made enough money from their crimes to surpass some countries' capitals. Although some of these men are in prison, dead, or facing criminal charges, the truth remains that they have amassed so much fortune that they will stay wealthy for a long time. Let's get into it, shall we? Number 1. Amado Carrillo Fuentes. Born in 1956 in Navolato, Mexico, Amado was a top drug dealer in the 1990s, and he was popularly called the Lord of the Skies, a nickname he most likely earned when word got around that he owned more than 20 private jets. These jets contributed to the success of his business and served as a sign of exploits in the drug trafficking business. Typically, Amado used his fleet of jets to transport cocaine and other illicit drugs from Colombia to Mexico. In his day, Amado led a multi-billion-dollar drug cartel known as the Juarez Cartel after the assassination of Rafael Guajardo, so it is safe to say he had his time in the sun. Unfortunately, Amado's reign came to an end when he died mysteriously. While his cause of death remains a mystery, since it happened in 1997, many suspect that his constant plastic surgery, which he underwent to evade arrest, was responsible. A few months after his death, the 2 doctors that performed Amado's last surgery were found dead in barrels. At the time of Amado's death, his net worth was over $25 billion. Still think crime doesn't pay? Number 2. Frank Lucas. War is good for business. If you don't believe me, ask Frank Lucas. He is one of the wealthiest crime leaders of all time, who had a net worth of over $52 million in 1976, which would be over $541 million today by adjusted inflation. Lucas built his empire during the Vietnam War by using returning soldiers and their dead colleagues' coffins to smuggle heroin into America. He was the biggest gangster in Harlem at the time. After years of running a seemingly smooth drug operation, Lucas was arrested by the FBI in 1976 and released after a 15-year sentence. Many movies show his exploits in the drug trade, especially the 2008 thriller American Gangster. One unique thing about Frank's operations, which many believe contributed significantly to his success, is his weird decision to work with family members only. All his top lieutenants, thugs, and corner boys were related to him. There were cousins, nephews, brothers and sisters, and uncles. Despite his unique leadership style, Frank's vast empire collapsed after his arrest. Number 3. Meyer Lansky. In his day, Lansky was the leader of the Italian and Jewish mafia, and he was popularly called the mob accountant. For some time, Lansky ran his operations in Cuba, but he left soon after. Before he left Cuba, Lansky ran his business alongside Charles Luciano, and they developed the crime syndicate in America during the 1920s. After becoming a criminal mastermind, Lansky was instrumental in the consolidation of the criminal underworld for nearly 50 years. But he was never found guilty of anything more serious than illegal gambling. Lansky eventually died in 1983 in Florida. At the time of his death, Meyer Lansky was worth over $20 million, which is over $160 million in 2022. Following Lansky's death, his family received over $200 million from his estate. Number 4. Anthony Fat Tony Salerno. Mr. Salerno's name appears in most discussions about gangsters, and with good reason. Anthony Salerno was born in 1911 and was the boss of the Genovese crime family in New York City for 6 years, between 1981 to 1986. In his glory days, Forbes magazine placed Salerno as number 1 on the list of most powerful mafia bosses in the world. His influence extended all over New York and made him a leader in major crimes including loan sharking and drug distribution. He died at the medical center in Springfield, Missouri. As it turns out, Anthony was not above the law, and so he was convicted for a host of crimes, such as racketeering and murders, which led to a 100-year sentence. Before his arrest, Anthony was worth over $1 billion, and he eventually died in July 1992. Number 5. Al Capone. Al Capone needs no introduction. After all, there's a reason why his name comes up anytime gangsters are discussed. Al Capone was the standout name during the Prohibition era of the 1920s. Al Capone was known by many nicknames such as Scarface, Big Boy, and Snorky. He built his empire through bootlegging and racketeering and was the boss of the Chicago outfit for 7 years. For the longest time, Al Capone was perceived to be untouchable, and at the peak of his career in 1929, his fortune stood at $100 million, which is $18 billion in today's world. Today, many stories, movies, and TV shows about him are all over the place, such as Scarface and The Untouchables. Seeing how Al Capone was considered untouchable for quite a while, it was a bit of a shock when he was convicted of tax evasion at the age of 33. After his sentence, Al Capone spent the last few years of his life in Alcatraz and died in 1947. Number 6. Griselda Blanco. The cocaine godmother was the drug queen of the Medellin Cartel. She ran the Miami drug trade route and worked with Pablo Escobar, who was a childhood friend. In her day, the queen controlled the business through extreme violence and intimidation. During her reign of terror, Griselda killed over 200 people, including women and children. Between the 1970s and 80s, the cocaine godmother made over $75 million a month. Reports from multiple media sources suggest that she made over $500 million a year. Her net worth was over $2 billion before her arrest. Griselda was arrested and sent to prison in 1985. For some reason, she received an early release and returned to Colombia. The godmother died in 2012. Number 7. Cali Cartel Brothers. Another partner of Pablo Escobar, the Cali Cartel Brothers were a major crime force from 1970 to the mid-1990s, so it is little wonder why brothers Gilberto and Miguel Orejuela are among the richest gangsters ever. The pair were the major rivals of the Medellin cartel after they broke away in 1965. They began their business in native Colombia and transported cannabis to the United States before switching to cocaine. At one point, the brothers controlled over 90% of illicit drug distribution in the world. During their time in power, the brothers had a combined net worth of over $5.5 billion by today's calculation. Their wealth grew as the Medellin cartel was waging war against the Colombian authorities. The Cali cartel was less violent than the Medellin cartel, but more brutal when they wanted to be. Their focus was making money instead of carrying out violence. Besides drugs, the Cali cartel established a bank for laundering their money. Eventually, the U.S. government extradited them to serve a 30-year sentence for various crimes, including murder. In May 2022, one of the brothers, Gilberto, died of lymphoma in prison at the age of 83. Number 8. Joaquin El Chapo Guzman Loera. One of the biggest names in the drug trafficking business of the 21st century, Joaquin Guzman Loera was nicknamed El Chapo for his height. To this day, El Chapo is regarded as one of Mexico's most notorious drug lords, and with good reason. He formed the Sinaloa cartel, which controls the drug trade from Colombia and Mexico into America. With a net worth of over $5 billion, El Chapo is among the top 1,000 wealthiest people on Earth. At the height of his dominance, El Chapo was the largest cocaine smuggler between Colombia and America. He built trafficking routes through tunnels and transported his merchandise in food cans and fire extinguishers. Using the most insane methods, El Chapo trafficked copious amounts of heroin, meth, and marijuana. In the 1980s, El Chapo transported illicit drugs through boat rides and airplanes from South America to Europe. He was initially arrested in Guatemala in 1993 and received a 20-year-long prison sentence from the Mexican government. Guzman escaped prison in 2001, but was arrested 13 years later. In 2015, he escaped jail for the second time, but was arrested for the last time a year later. His extradition to the U.S. came in 2017, and he was given a 30-year sentence. Number 9. Pablo Escobar. There is no list of gangsters without the name of Pablo Escobar, and when it's a list of rich gangsters, well, you just know he's getting a top spot. Born in Colombia in 1949, Pablo was a drug kingpin who had a net worth of more than $30 billion before his death. Most of this incredible wealth came from his time as the leader of the most dangerous drug cartel in history, the Medellin Cartel. At their peak, Pablo's cartel controlled more than 80% of cocaine distribution in the world. In total, the Medellin Cartel was responsible for over 2,000 deaths. Despite this nature of brutality, the people in Medellin call Pablo a hero, especially the poor. If you were wondering, Pablo won the people over with the construction of new sports fields, houses, and the distribution of money through civic actions, so many citizens helped him evade the authorities. Number 10. Semyon Mogilevich. This Jewish crime leader, Semyon Mogilevich, was born in Kiev, Ukraine 76 years ago. Today, Semyon is the leader of the Mogilevich crime family in Russia, and the money earned from this position has landed him a spot among the world's most wanted criminals. As of now, Semyon is worth over $10 billion. He is referred to as the boss of bosses by most Russian mafia syndicates. His businesses include drug trafficking, money laundering, weapons trafficking, prostitution, and racketeering, among other things. Semyon is called by many nicknames such as Don Semyon and the Brainy Don. His steady rise and continued freedom are due to his relationship with many famous politicians in Europe. Notwithstanding, he has a bounty worth over $1 billion on his head. Amazingly, the authorities haven't caught him yet. We have come to the end of today's video. Please remember to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more exciting content. Adios.